Look, I'm trying my best to be positive about this team, but seriously, what the hell was that? I just watched 60 minutes of nothing. I want to preface by saying the Canes are on a back-to-back tonight. They played against Toronto last night. They won that game. It's also their 5th game in 7 nights, and the Canucks managed what, like 15 shots on goal? I think they had 3 power plays, and they managed to break into the zone a total of 1 time. And where it gets even worse, we gave Dustin Tokarski a shutout. I don't think I've heard that name in about 5 years. The main issue that I found tonight was urgency. There wasn't any. The Canucks didn't realize the opportunity that they had today to play against a weak goalie and a team that's gonna be a little bit slower than they usually are. They ended up playing down to the speed that the Hurricanes were content with. They didn't force the issue at all, and surprise surprise, they got nothing out of it. Not even a single goal. The worst part is that it doesn't get easier. We play the Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow night, and this time it's our turn to be on a back-to-back, so we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but for now, let's jump into the recap. I actually thought the first period was probably the best the Canucks had looked all game, specifically the start of it. They had some jump. Besser almost catches Tokarski out the net here, but he scrambles back to recover. They were getting some good looks, and Tokarski was looking shaky, and things were looking good all up until Miller makes a bit of an errant pass, and then DeBrusk gets caught watching a little bit. A shot gets blocked, and then the rebound from Stahl catches Demko by surprise. It goes through his legs, and the Canes take a 1-0 lead. Early in the second period, and Svechnikov shakes away from Soucy. He just kind of cuts in front and goes on the blocker side of Demko to put it by him, 2-0 for the Canes. And then after that, it seemed like the Canucks just didn't really have that much of a response. It was a very boring period. They just kind of sat back and allowed the Canes to have some shots at Demko. He makes a good stop here, but other than that, it was very low event. Not that much for me to actually comment on. In the third, the first half was more of the same stuff from the second period. Pettersson had a really good look here halfway through on the power play, but just put it over the net. Demko continued to look pretty good, and then in the dying minutes of the game, Besser has a good move here, puts one on net, and then Sasson almost puts it by Tokarski, but he just barely bats it over. I'm not gonna lie to you, man, it was a very dull game. There wasn't really much that happened. The Canucks get shut out, 2-0 is the final score, and that was it. To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that most people would be okay with the fact that this is going to be a shorter video. I just want to flush this one. There's another game tomorrow against the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's not going to be an easy game. They're going to be rested. But even with that, I'm expecting a much more desperate effort from the Canucks. It's a big game. They got to get up for it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. What needs to change with this team? I'll make a whole video about that later on. But for now, that's all for me. Make sure you check out the Nuckhead podcast in the description down below. I was the guest on yesterday's episode. We go over a lot that has to do with this Vancouver Canucks team and their future. But yeah, man, thank you all so much. Subscribe if you're new. Peace out and take care.